And I guess you can see by the condition of the ground, it should be playing very fast for the type of football Mount Albert to be renowned for their type of football. Well, Mike, today's game, as you know, how's going to be the climate for today?
Well, we hope we can implement a good attacking open style of football, and we welcome the game against the Tanafereo combination. We realise that they had performed very creditably in the Tusk Cup last year, getting through and playing the eventual finalists in Randwick, and we're expecting a very hard confrontation. The ground is excellent. I've had the fortune of playing at Davies Park before with Auckland sides against Waikato, and we're looking forward to the encounter.
Well, Mike, you know, as we've been following Mount Albert, you know, from here and down here, we've been following the game up there, and over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've seen that they haven't been able to put it together, and eventually starting to drop their games. But have they lost any team morale over those last 2 or 3 games up in Auckland?
A marginal loss of mental application to their game. They're good footballers, they're capable, but they haven't applied themselves correctly. They had a flat spot after the Auckland Grand Final, after the Fox Memorial, and I sincerely hope that we can perform to correct expectations and put on a big game for us down here today.
Thank you, Mike. And another thing is, have you any up-and-coming star players in your side that maybe would be forming here today, or is it all a team effort?
Well, we like to think that a champion team can be beaten by a team of champions, so I'd like to consider my side as a combination. But obviously my captain Shane Cooper will be well known down here, and his ball skills are excellent. And we have, some young promising players that we'll be introducing today. We have Ricky Cowan, the young New Zealand Maori prop, and obviously Cedric Lovett, and he's a player that we'll be bringing on because he's had a lot of hard competitive football, and in the best interest of the New Zealand Maori League side, we will be resting him and bringing him on in the later stages of the match.
Well, Mike, thank you, and we wish you well today with your boys, and sure hope you enjoy the spirit of football. That we all know that the game of rugby league is the super game here in New Zealand, and we're looking forward to see a very entertaining game. And Mike, thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody.
In these two teams, Taniwharau and Mount Albert. Well, today's referee is Roy Bradford and Kim Taikihia and Mika Yusanisa. For the Taniwharau, we have at fullback Anaru Thompson. We have on the wing, in the centres, we have John Hiromai, Walter Toka, Patrick Kohe, Stephen Tomo, Sonny Martinga, Chas Pucky. In the forwards, we have Rick Muru, Don Parkinson, Warren Rangi, Doug Rahe, Lewis Hill, and Hiremia Tapai. The reserves, Harvey Rotana, Martin Martinga, Pat Edwards, and Lenny Headed. Well, here we are. We have the players out on the field. Mount Albert here, running on. And today they are playing Taniwharau here from Waikato. And this game is very important for both of these teams because they know if they get knocked out today, well, that's what it is. You're knocked out in this Tusk Cup, and the winner will eventually advance to the next quarters. So today is a very vital game. We welcome you here to Davies Park, and sure hope that you enjoy the game because it is a beautiful day for this game today. We're just waiting for the gold and green to come on. So here they come. Taniwharau from Waikato, the champions, will face the might of the Auckland team, Mount Albert, whose their record hasn't been very impressive over the last 3-4 weeks. As you know, they've been beaten by Otahu twice, and they've been beaten by Manukau twice. So, like I was saying, they are psyched up for this game. Mike McLennan was saying they're looking forward to this game today to try and make amends for those losses. So Mount has won the toss, and they'll play from my left to right. Well, we have a pretty good crowd here today for this game, and it's very nice to see them turn out here and giving good support for their local teams. And also we have good support for the Mount Albert side. So there it is, the kickoff has been taken, the Tusk Cup is in progress. Well, he's brought down in a tackle, Mount Albert's brought down in a tackle right on the 22. They get up to play it, they move it out to the blind. They have a crush run, but there's a good tackle there by Doug Rye. They lost the ball, but as the ref says, it's been knocked back. The referee has called told Lewis there to get off the player, loose arm, and the penalty rod just inside the own 22, and they'll take a kick. But it was good tackling there by the green and goal. So that kick was taken by their fullback Darryl Williams. They'll play it inside Tanny's own half. They move the ball and they get to kick it through. But Curls is back there with he takes the ball well. Curls have 1-2 jinx. He's taken in a tackle inside their own 22. They'll get up to play it. Move it out to Don Parks and Don move it out to Alan Tupai. Tupai give it to John Hiromai. But he's brought down in the tackle, still in their own half. They'll get up to play it. Donald Parkinson out to Rick Murray out to Doug Ray, but he loses a tackle pass. He's taken 2 or 3 tackles there, and he's still standing. And Rick will play the ball on the 22. Ref is in there to make sure that everything is being played right. He gets the ball out to Alan Tupai. Alan Tupai has a run on his own, but he goes down. They're still in their own 22. Mount Albert's getting up very quick on the green and goal. Out to Patrick Core. He has a deep kick into Mount Albert's own 22. But they kept the ball in, and Stephen Tomo's up there. And Stephen Tomo will have a go, and he's brought their fullback down in the tackle. Referee says let him play it. So he'll get up to play it back. Now they move the ball out to their blind, they bring it out there. But he's brought down in the tackle by Rick Murray. Good tackling there by Lewis. 1 up, 1 down. The ref says let him play it. They'll play it still in their own half, and there's the tactics off Mount Albert. They decide to kick the ball deep into the Tanny's own half. And Curls will gather it up. And he booted back in. Referee says that the Mount Albert was offside. So a penalty will go to the green and gold inside their own 22. Well, there it is. You can see the tactics off the Mount Alberts. When they get the ball, they kick it deep back into the green and goal so that they can keep the game played down there, and just waiting for that vital mistake from the green and goal, and then they can make their attack. But however, it was eventuated into a penalty. So the kick is taken on the 22 by Patrick Coy. They'll play the ball just inside their own half. Stephen Tomo will play the ball. Moves the ball out to big Rick Murray. Rick has a run on his own. He decided to lose one tackle. He does. Out to Chaz Pucky, out to Sonny. Sonny out to Walter Turger. Walter has a couple of jinks there, but he's brought down inside Mount Albert's half now. Ref see, let him get up and play it. He'll play it to John Hiromai. John out to Chaz Pucky, out to Doug Ray. Good running by Doug Ray, but just as equal in the tackling by Mount Albert. They'll get up to play the ball in Mount Albert's own half. It's out to Chaz Pucky. Chaz loses the ball there, but no ref says he knocked it back. He'll get up, he'll play the ball still inside Mount Albert's half. He decided to have a run there, but refs told him to play the ball. But so the ref said we'll have a scrum there. The scrum will go down on the 10-yard meter inside Mount Albert's half. There's one there by Mount Albert. They decide to come out to the blind here. They bring it out to John Hiromai. Come out to John Hiromai. Good tackling there by Chaz Pucky. John Hiromai has been caught in a loose arm tackle there. And Mount Albert will take the penalty inside the green and gold's half. Well, they'll play the ball inside Tanny's own 22. Now they move the ball, they have a dummy around, switch around the play, then they move it out into their centres, using their big man crashing through out there in the centres, but he's brought down in the tackle by Lewis and Doug Ray. They get up to play the ball, they still move it out into their centres, and it's good tackling there by the green and gold's half. Well, they'll play the ball inside Tanny's own 22. Now they move the ball, they have a dummy around, switch around the play, then they move it out into their centres, using their big man crashing through out there in the centres, but he's brought down in the tackle by Lewis and Doug Ray. They get up to play the ball, they still move it out into their centres, and it's good tackling there by the green and goal. Mount Albert will get up to play it, they're still inside Tanny's 22. Look to have a run on their own, but move it right out here to Mount Albert, and he's brought down in the tackle by Donald Parkinson and Rick Murray. They get up to play it. About 5 yards short of the Tanny try line. The referee says that Lewis wasn't standing in front of the direct man, so he's penalised Lewis. Lewis has not been settling down at the moment. He's back chatting to the ref, so the ref decides to penalise him there and then, and Mount Albert is still attacking. And Tanny's holding them in their defence. They're moving the ball out into their centres, and there's all green and gold right there to knock the blue and yellow over. They'll play it right in front of the uprights. Now they move the ball out to their left, using their centres. Mount Albert have a 1-2 jink run there, but he's brought down in a tackle by Chaz Pucky and hit him at Tupai. Now they move the ball out to their left. A good crashing run there by Mount Albert. They'll get up the players. They're still short of the try line. Now they're moving the ball right out into their centres, out onto my right here. Need to have a run, but he's brought down in the tackle by the green and gold. Good defence there by Tanny. Mount Albert will play it. Now they move the ball and they decide to have the up and under. He did in his referee says knock in goal there, so we'll play the tap here on the 25. So Tanny will take the tap on their 22. They move the ball out to their right, and Rick decides to have a run on his own, but he's stopped there, and he'll play the ball just outside his own 22. Now they move the ball out to the right line, out to Warren Rangi. It's brought down in a good tackle there by Chris Meader. Now they play the ball back out to Hidemi Tupai, and Albert Tupai has a run on his own, tries to elude 2 tackles of Mount Albert, but he's brought down. Good tackling there by Mount Albert. They get up to play it out to Donald, and Donald give it out to Patrick Corey. Patrick has this little chip ahead. The ball's been brought back, and bad loose pass there by Mount Albert. Ref said play it there. He knocked the ball back. Referee said he lost the ball in the tackle there, so we'll have a scrum inside Mount Albert's own 22 with the green and gold on attack here. Mount Albert lost 2 or 3 yards in that tackle. Now they move it out to Sonny out to Patrick Coy. Patrick Coy decides to try to have it go through the gap, but Mount Albert had brought him down. And a good tackle there, 1 and 2. They give it out to Ellen to Tupai, out to Chaz Pucky, out to Warren. Warren has a run, and he's brought down in a good tackle there by Mount Albert. He'll get up to play it inside Mount Albert's 22. They play the ball back to Chaz Pucky. Chaz bring it out to Ellen Tupai. Ellen Tupai has up and under there, and has put the ball back to Tess, and he's brought down in a good tackle there. Referee says good tackle there by the green and gold, right in the goal line there. The green and gold is starting to put the pressure on this Mount Albert side. And that was a good take there by Dale Williams for Mount Albert, but he was eventually brought back in a good tackle there by Alan Tupai. So a dropout will be taken from under the post, with Tanny still on attack here. Move the ball, it's good kick in there, but Chaz Pucky has recovered there. Now he moves out to his right, tries to elude the tackle there of Mount Albert, but he's brought down in a good tackle there. So they'll play the ball out to Stephen Tom, out to Curls, and Curls on to Tar. Good running by Doug there. Now that's better, and he's brought down just on Mount Albert's 22. They get to play the ball out to Curls, out to big boy Rick Murray, and Rick decides to take the tackle. He'll go down inside Mount Albert's 22. He'll get up to play the ball. They move it out to Curls there, and Curls move the ball out to Chaz Pucky. Chaz Pucky out to Stephen Tomo, and Stephen Tomo decides to have a run on his own, but he's brought in the tackle there. Well stopped there by Mount Albert. There's a bit of loose arm going in there by Mount Albert. The referee was right on the spot to see that happen, so Tanny gets the penalty. They take the quick tack up to Alan Tupai. Hidemir has a good breakthrough there. But they lose the ball, but ref says they were shepherding there. They were crossing the play off the green and goal, so Tanny got a penalty right in front of the goal. And that was a good play by the green and gold, because they're really starting to play as a team, and their morale is up. And they're starting to put everything together. And Mount Albert at the moment are just a wee bit shaky at the moment, but don't count them out just yet. The game's still young. And this is what we want to see from the green and gold here in Waikato, is to get on to top of their team and to know who's boss here at Davies Park today. Other penalties there. So Tani Whao lead Mount Albert by 2 points to 0. We've been going 20 minutes. We're going just on 20 minutes. So the kick's been taken by Mount Albert deep into the green and gold's half. It's gathered there by Curls. Ref said he knocked it back, so he'll bring the ball up. Out to Stephen Tomo. Tomo has a run on his own, but he's brought down in the tackle just inside the own 22. He'll play it back to Anaru Thompson, out to Donald, out to Alan Tupai, but Alan's lost the ball. And Mount Albert will get up to play the ball inside his own half. Well, he's brought down in the tackle there. Good tackling by the green and gold. He's driven back there by about a metre. Referee says they'll let him play the ball. So he gets up to play the ball pretty slowly in that hard tackle by the green and gold. They move the ball out into the centre there. Oh, it's a bit of dirty play there going by Mount Albert. They're starting to lift the knees a bit. So they play the ball in the centres of the field. Now they move the ball out to their left, and they're having a run on their own. And he's brought down in the tackle by Stephen Tomo, and the ref is right on the spot there to see that there's no dirty niggling going on. Now they move the ball out into their centres, bringing it out wide, and he's brought down in a good tackle there by Doug Rahi and Rick Murray. So Mount Albert will get up to play the ball, and they still attacking here. They bring the ball out to the right, and they're using their big Cowan man in there, Rick Cowan, to have a crutching run, but he's brought down in the tackle by the green and gold. The ball has been brought out to Sonny Martinga. He takes the ball still in their own half. They'll get up to play the ball. They give it to Chaz Puckett. Chaz has a run, but he's brought down in the tackle. He's gained about a metre or so. He'll get up to play it. And give it to Warren Ranger. Warren has one good run there. Pushes off a Mount Albert player, but he was tackled by the second man there. They bring the ball out to Alan Tupai. Alan Tupai decides to come back right in here. Oh, and I'll tell you, it's very hard tackling out there today. Both teams are really putting their heart into the game. They'll get up and play the ball inside their own 22. They move the ball out to Patrick Coy, and Patrick Lecter has a kick. And it's a good kick by Patrick Coy. It eluded the Mark Woolovan. So the scrum will go down still inside the green and gold zone half. And it's a beautiful game today, and it's a beautiful weather, and the ground is playing in excellent order, and it's very entertaining rugby league here at Davies Park. So the scrum will go down. Ball's been put in, but ref says no, straight out. They'll put the ball back in again. Mount Albert has the loose. Tanny has the loose head. Mount Albert put in. Referee's just calling them apart just to put the scrum back down again. The scrum goes down, and then it goes to Mount Albert wins the scrum. They move it out into their centres. It's brought out to their good running by Mount Albert. Good tackling there by John Hurumai on Chris Meter. Chris will get up to play it. It's good tackling there by the green and gold. John Hurumai is really starting to do his work there for the green and gold. They'll get up to play Mount Albert, still in Tanny's half. Decide to have a run on there. Mount Albert is really starting to work this ball now, but the defence is there for the green and gold, and there it is. And Steve Tomo's got the tackle here, but he loses the ball here. He loses the ball in the tackle. He tried to give an inside pass, but Mount Albert was there to gather up the loose ball. So they'll play it inside their own half. Now they move it out into their centres. There's their big forward, Chris Cowan, but he is brought down in a good tackle by Doug Rahi. So Rick will get up to play the...
Two Ricks.
Both Rick Murray and Rick Cowan, they're both on the ground there, but eventually a penalty went to Mount Albert. Well, I can tell you there's some good hard tackling out there today. Well, Ty, there's some good tackling out there by both sides. So far the boys are hanging in there.
Yes, it's good first 20 minutes this first quarter, and Tanny, they're really showing their utmost.
Well, Mount Albert has taken the tap, and they move inside to the green and gold half, and there's good tackling there by Alan Tupai and Doug Rahi. Now they move the ball out to their blind, and they're using their big man. He turns to lead the pass, but he's brought down in a good tackle there once again by the green and gold. They're covering well out there, Lewis Headed and Donald Parkinson. Now they bring the ball back infield and they switch back to the blind. But it's a bit of loose pass going there by Mount Albert that he's brought down in the tackle. He went back some 6 yards there in their tackle. They'll get up to play the ball. Still in the green and gold half. They switch the ball inside to take the blind. Reverse pass. But he's going to be brought down in the tackle by the green and gold. Ref said that's his last tackle. Ref said carry on. Now they bring the ball out to their centres, out to Sonny Martinga and out to Patrick Coy. But they should have had an overlap there. There's a bit slow passing there by Sonny, but they'll get up to play the ball. Out to Sonny. Sonny gives it in to John Hiromai. And John Hiromai bring the ball some 5 or 6 yards. He'll get up to play the ball. Refs right there on the spot. They'll play the ball still inside their own half. Out to Chaz Bucky, out to Alan Tupai, and Alan Tupai give it out to Donald Parkinson. But Donald Parkinson is brought down on the 10-metre line. Still in their half. They'll play the ball. They move the ball out to Rick Murray. And Rick decides to have a dummy run. Gives it out to Warren. But Rick says, referee says we'll have a knock on there. Double knock on. I'll have a scrum just inside the green and gold's half. Well, the green and gold is leading by 2 points to 0. The scrum to go, and it's won by the green and gold. And Chas will get on the loose ball. He'll play it. He'll get up to play it. Move the ball now out to Kel Thompson, out to Sonny Martin, and Sonny decides to have a run on his own and gives it out to Patrick Coy, but Patrick lost the ball there. And Stephen Thomas chasing. And he'll get up to play it there, and the referee said it's a try. It's a try there to Mount Albert, a good try there. It's a bad mistake there by the green and gold. However, it was just unfortunate that the ball went astray there for the green and gold, and Mount Albert just whipped on the loose pass, and there they were in for a try. So the lead now by 4 points to 2, with the conversion yet to come. Well, that try there was scored by Lindsay Hooker there, margin of distance 5-6 yards there. So they'll get up to play the ball just outside their own 22. Doug Ray decides to have her on his own. It's good running by Doug Ray. Gives it out to Donald Parkinson. Ref says to let him play it. They'll get up to play it out to Lewis. Lewis gives it up to Patrick Coy. And Patrick Coy decides to have a kick on his own. So he's kicked the ball into the dead ball line. So Mount Albert will get the tap on the 22. They decide to use their big man here. So that's better tackling by the green and gold. They'll play the ball just outside the only 22. They'll go out to their left, right, and they switch back in. And it's good attacking by Mount Albert. And they decide to run the ball down onto their winging side. It's brought down in a tackle by Stephen Tomo. They'll get up to play the ball on the half. They move the ball out into their centres now. They're using their forwards. And it's good running by Mount Albert. The green and gold are starting to let them run a wee bit here. Mount Albert's moving the ball out into their centres. It's good tackling there by Doug Ray. They'll play the ball inside Tanny's own half. The ref said that's the last tackle. They'll get up to play the ball. Out to Big Cowan. Cowan moves the ball out into their centres. He has a kick through, and Stephen Thomas is there to cover the ball there. And he's out to kill something. Kills has the jink 1-2. But he's brought down in a tackle there. Good tackling by Mount Albert. They'll get up to play the ball, Tanny. They move the ball out to Warren. Out to Alan Tupai. Alan Tupai decides to have a run on his own. Give it out to John Hiromai. John Hiromai goes back infield. He switches the ball back out to Lewis Headed. And Lewis Headed moves it out to Donald Parkinson. Donald Parkinson gives it out to Walter Toka. But they'll play the ball there. Still in their own 22. They move the ball out, and Donald Parkinson decides to have a run on his own. Run the blind. He'll get up to play it. The ref said there's the first quarter of the game. And Chaz Pokey will just have a run with the ball. What the referee says, now there's the first quarter of this game. Mount Albert leading by 4 points to 2. And that was a very good quarter there.
In case you're confused, the game will be played in 4 20-minute spells. End of the first 20 minutes, Mount Albert 4, Tanaka 2.
Well, the game is very pacey out there this afternoon. Mount Albert is really throwing everything at the green and gold. And, well, they are standing up to it at the moment, but we still have another 3 quarters to go yet. and anything can happen in this game. Well, the second quarter is to be about taken here by the green and gold. We'll kick off from my right to left. By the way, to the viewers, this game is played in 4 quarters, 20 minutes in 20 minutes of each quarters. So they have already gone through the first quarter with Mount Albert leading by 4 points to 2. Well, the kick's been taken off by the green and gold. That ball is taken by Peter Kelly. He'll play the ball inside their own half now. They're moving the ball using their big man, Rick Cowan, there to drive through, but he's brought down by Doug Rahe and Alan Tupai. Now they've gone back to their tactics again. It's the kick through, and Anaru Thompson is right there to take the ball. He knocks it back. Ref said knock back. He's brought down in the tackle. He ran about 3 or 4 meters there. He'll play the ball to Donald Parks, and Donald bring it out to John Hiromai. John Hiromai goes through 1 tackle, 2, and he's brought down still inside their own half. They'll play the ball back to Donald out to big Rick there, and Rick's having to run on his own, and he is taken by three Mount Albert players there. He'll get up to play the ball just inside their own half. Bring the ball out from Donald Parks and out to Alan Tupai. Alan Tupai puts an up and under kick there, and their winger's waiting at the back there, but he's missed it, and then Stephen Tomo, all he had to do is just pick up the ball so that they could play it there. So they'll have a scrum there inside Mount Albert's own half. Well, they had an opportunity there to gain the ball there and play it inside the Mount Albert's half, but however Stephen had knocked the ball on, so the scrum will go down there. The scrum will go down. Mount Albert has won that scrum. Bring the ball out to their centre, but a loose ball there by Mount Albert, and it's kicked through, kicked back out here. A good tackle there by John Hiromai on Mount Albert winger here, Mike Wonderful. They'll play the ball back. Mount Albert's using their big man. Nice bit of tackling by the green and gold there. Mount Albert will play the ball now. They bring the ball back out to the right, using the blind there. They're using their big man, and he's brought down in the tackle by Doug Rahe and Alan Tupai. They'll get up to play the ball. And move the ball out into their centres. Side to Trotted, and big Rick Cowan there has looted 1 tackle, but he's brought down from behind by Lewis. Now he'll play the ball still inside their own half. Rick, the referee said that's the last kick. There's the kick through by the Mount Albert. That's a good kick by Mount Albert there. They've gained some 35 to 40 metres there. And they'll play that. They'll have the scrum inside the green and gold zone 22. Well, this is the tactics of Mount Albert. They are just getting the ball on the 4th tackle. They just drive the ball back down deep into the green and gold's half, and so they could play the ball there, play the game in the green and gold zone half, and just wait for the errors to come. But errors, they lost the scrum there, and Stephen Tomo once again has knocked that ball on. They'll have a scrum there, still inside Tanny zone 22. The referee says the scrum's been won by Mount Albert, so they'll play the ball. Good tackling there by green and gold. They'll get up to play the ball. They're still inside the green and gold zone half. They move the ball out into their centres, and Patrick Coy is moving up pretty fast. But the gap's starting to appear here for the green and gold. On the green and gold, and Mount Albert is switching to play left and right. The referee said at the 2nd tackle he'll get up to play it, and they move the ball using the blind, using the big man. The referee says that's his 3rd tackle. The green and gold is all under all sorts of pressure now. The referee says stealing the ball in the tackle, so Mount Albert takes in that tap there. Now they move the ball deep out into their centres. The tackle's been taken there good by Walter there. Now they'll play the ball back, and they're using their big man there, Jim Cohen there, and he's held up in the tackle. And the referee says he'll play it there, about 2 or 3 metres short of the try line. Now they're moving the ball out into their centres, and there's a gap right out here. And the gap must come here, try must come here from Mount Albert. And Mount Albert's in for a try. Great try by Mount Albert. They caught Tanny there coming in. The Tanny winger came in there and it created overlap there for Mount Albert, and they just cruised in for a try. That was scored by their fullback Darryl Williams.
Nice try by fullback Darryl Williams. Makes the score to 8-2.
John Herriman never came in there. Well, the conversion is about to be taken, but it's wide of the uprights there. It's flagged away, but Mount Albert's still leading by 8 points to 2. And they're looking very much the team that they were known in Auckland for their attacking ability. And at this moment, well, the green and gold, they're really starting to show a bit of weariness here, and they need to tidy up on their defense and just move up on their men. But there it is, they'll kick off now. The kick's been taken by Rick. Kicked it right deep down into Mount Albert's own half. Mount Albert's coming through, but he's taken there in a tackle by Rick and Donald Parkinson. They'll get up to play the ball inside their own half. Now they're moving the ball out to their blind. And they'll play the ball there, still inside their own half. They get up to play the ball, but Doug Gray has raked the ball back. Well, ref says no, you cannot do that. You didn't play the ball, let him have the chance of playing the ball, so he's penalised the green and goal inside Mount Albert's half. And Dale Williams will kick for touch. Well, Lindsay Hooker will play the ball inside the Tanny's half. Now he moved the ball back to Brian McLennan. He has a run on his own, but he's brought down in the tackle there. Still inside the green and gold half. He'll get up to play the ball. Now they move the ball back into the centre, using big Rick Cowan there to have a run, crashing through there, and he gets up to play the ball. Now they're using the cross here, and they move the ball out to their blind. And they brought their fullback in. He's brought down in the tackle there by good covering by Donald Parkinson there. Now they move the ball back into their centres. They double around. The ref says the ball had gone back, so they'll play the ball there. They'll play the ball there on right on the 22. They'll play the ball down on their 22. They'll get up to play it now. They're moving the ball out to their left. The referee says the green and gold offside. They caught the green and gold offside there, and they've given a penalty to Mount Albert. They'll take the 2 points. Yeah. Well, the penalty will be taken by Glenn Towson for Mount Albert. Well, it's successful. It's there, so they increase their lead to 10 points to 2 over Tanny here from Waikato. It's well taken there by Mount Albert, but he's brought down in the tackle there by Warren and Doug Rahe. They'll get up to play it. He decides to have a run to the blind. He eludes one tackle, but he's brought down there by Walter Toker and Doug Rahe. They'll get up to play it now, still inside their own half. Now they move the ball back out into the centres here, using their forwards. He's brought down in the tackle by Donald Parkinson and Alan Tupai. Now they'll elect to kick the ball deep back into the green and gold area. It's taken by Curls. Curls decided to have a run on his own. He does, and he's kicked through. But is well recovered by Mount Albert. He's taken in there. Well, he'll get up. Mount Albert play the ball now just inside their own half. Now they're switching the ball left and right. Then they bring it out into their centres. Lude the tackle of Doug Ryan. They still bringing it out wide. And it's taken the tackle by Patrick Coyan. And Lewis is in there to cover up for the green and gold. Well, the gaps are starting to appear now in the green and gold. They're not covering. They're just letting Mount Albert start to run at them now. And they're moving the ball out left and right. And Stephen Thomas taking the tackle there. But Lewis has taken the ball. The referee says referee won't have that that decision there by the green and goal. He says no, you've called the sixth tackle. He lost the ball. So we'll have a scrum there. Right on the halfway. Well, the referees, I think he appears to says that there's a couple of players there offside when Chase Pucky had picked up that ball. They were in offside position, so their right is looted. They did win the scrum, but eventually Mount Albert got the penalty. Well, they have a double round and it's out to Mount Albert, and it's good tackling there by Alan Tupai. They'll get up to play the ball inside Tanny's, just inside Tanny's own 22. Now they're using big Rick Cowan there to crash through, but he's brought down in the tackle there by Doug Ryan. They'll get up to play it on the 22. Now they bring the ball back out into their centres. Doug Ryan had got the tackle off Mount Albert there. The ref says you had knocked the ball on, so we'll have a scrum there, still inside the green and gold's half. Well, the scrummers go down and it's put in by Chas, and it's won by the green and gold. They move it out to Sonny, out to take it down to Sonny Martin, and Sonny has gone through the gap there, 1-2 gaps. But he's good running there by Sonny. He'll play the ball inside Mount Albert's half now. They move the ball back to Chas Pucky, out to Walter Toka. Walter decides to have a run on his own, but he's caught there by two tacklers. Mount Albert there. He'll play the ball still inside Mount Albert's half. They'll play the ball back to Donald, and Donald gives the ball out to Alan Tupai. Alan Tupai decides to have a run on his own. He does elude one tackle, but he's caught there. And they play the ball back to Donald Parks, and Donald give it out to Warren. Warren having a run on his own, crashing through. He'll get up to play the ball on the ref said, that's your fifth tackle. They move the ball out to Chas Pucky. And Chas decides to have the run on his own. That's the last tackle there by Curls, and Curls decides to have a run on his own. And Curls will have a run on his own. But the referee says that's the sixth tackle, give it away. Mount Albert to regain the ball there. And there's big Rick Cowan there. And Tanny has regained the ball here. The green and gold has regained the ball. Now they move the ball out into the centre, out to Alan Tupai. Alan's just having a crashing run up the middle there. They'll play the ball inside Mount Albert's 22. Now they move the ball out to Big Rick, and Rick decides to have a run on his own. It does lose one man off Donald Parkinson there to cover up Rick there, but he is taken in a tackle there. Now they'll play the ball still in Mount Albert's 22. Out to Alan Tupai. Alan puts an up and under kick here, but he's just giving it to the fullback, and ref says he wasn't offside. They were offside, the Mount Albert players, when that ball was kicked through by Alan Tupai. And the ref said you must retire the 5 yards. So there it is. It ended up in a penalty to the green and goal.
Come on, Pip. Get close, get close.
Well, that was a good attack and move there by the green and goal. I'd like to see them move the ball a wee bit more instead of just more or less giving it back to Mount Albert, because these guys, you kick the ball to them, they'll just take it and say thank you, and then they'll start their attacking. But there it was, when Alan Tupai kicked through, the Mount Albert players were offside to my left here, and then eventually ended up in a penalty to the green and goal. So these are 2 vital points that Tanny need at the moment, and the Mount Albert leading by 10-2, and to Patrick to make it 10-4. Now it's been waved away. It's been waved away. It's there's 2 points when begging there, and they've given it away. But they all regained the ball back through a 10-meter kick. The ball must go 10 meters. Kills is back there to take that ball. Well, they went back 5 or 6 yards there by a bad pass there by Kills, but however they recuperate and they've got the ball, and John Hiromai has gained about 2 or 3 yards there, and they'll play the ball on the 22. They'll get up to play it back to Donald Parkinson, but John decides to have a run on his own. He does. He gained about 5 or 6 yards there. He'll get up to play the ball. Still in their own half. They move it out to... nobody wants the ball there. The green and gold don't want the ball. They're just standing there. They're in disarray, but now they move the ball out to Big Rick. Rick decides to kick the ball through. But Stephen Tomo's got him wrapped up there. And he's taken down and tackled by Walter and Stephen. They'll get up to play the ball just on the halfway. And their fullback, Darryl Williams, decided to come back and have a run on his own. He'll play the ball inside Tanny's own half. And he's brought down in the tackle by Doug Rahe there. Mount Albert will get up to play the ball. They play the ball then, they switch the ball back to their left. Tried to elude one tackle there, but Walter's up there on the tackle. And Stephen Tomo there's close on to his man. He's down. I'll get up to play the ball. Now they're running onto the ball. Mount Albert is using the ball, using their big man to go through the green and goal, but he'll play it inside Tanny's half, and that's the final kick. And, he has lost the ball and is gathered by Donald Parkinson, and Donald has a run on his own. He's beat his man there, but he'll get up to play it. To play it back to Lewis, and he's given out to Big Rick, and there's Warren there. Warren has a run on his own, but he's brought down, still in their own 20, still in their own half. They'll play the ball back to Rick. Rick gives it out to Chas Bucket. Chas out to Alan Tupai, and Alan Tupai gives it out to Sonny. Sonny had lost the ball. Gave a loose pass there, so.
Hey, wait, come back here, mate. Come back here.
Well, they have a scrum there, just onside the green and goals 22. They put the ball in as one by Mount Albert. They decide to have a run, the air halfback. And Lewis there to cover up. So they'll play, Mount Albert will play the ball still inside the green and gold 22 now. They're moving the ball right out into their centres. And it's good tackling there by Walter Tucker. They'll get up to play it. And letting Mount Albert creep up into their own try line now. Just knock on there, ref said. We'll have a scrum there inside the Tannies 22. The scrum is won by the green and gold. Sonny brought it out into their centres, so they get up to play it to Patrick Coy. Patrick Coy move it out to Anaru Thompson, out to Alan Tupai. He's just held on to that pass. He'll get up to play it. He'll play it back to Anaru Thompson. Mount Albert have got their defence there pretty well tied up for the Tony. And it's out to John Hiramai, and he's caught there by Mike Bolivan, but Rick decides to kick the ball through again.
Get up there, wingers.
Yeah, it was good running by Mount Albert there. They've gained about 20 yards there. Now they move the ball. They're playing in Tanny's own half. Now they just electing to have a run. They're just playing the game straight up the middle now, and they'll get up to play it just inside Tanny's 22. Now they're moving the ball out into the centres, using big Rick Cowan there. But Rick's been stopped in the tackle there. He'll get up to play it on the 22. Play it back. Now they move the ball back out into their centres. And Walter has got his man. He's holding them there, but no, they decide to give the pass back inside. They bringing the ball right back into their centres. But Patrick has lost the ball there. It was unfortunate there. It was unlucky there, but Patrick. Well, half-time is over, and now the two teams are out on the field. And Mount Albert would take the kick-off, playing from my right to left. And they're leading by 10 points to 2. We have some changes in the Mount Albert side for Mount Albert. We have 14, Sidrid Leipzig, who has come on for the Mount Albert side. And we'll still have the same side for Tanny.
There's been one replacement for Mount Albert, number 14, Cedric Lovett.
Don't break your neck, mate.
Well, the kick has been taken deep into the green and gold's half and is taken by Curls. But knockback ref says, so John Hiramai has gained the ball. He's coming up, moving up there. And good running by John Hiramai. He's gained about 20 yards there, so they play the ball just inside the 20 metre there. Now to Warren Rangi. Warren just crushing upfield. They're just going back to the basics now. Now they move the ball back out to their blind now to Chaz Pucky. Tries to elude a tackle there of Mount Albert, but he's brought down, and they still play the game inside their 22. And they move the balls out to Patrick Corey, and Patrick decides to have a kick through, and he does, and it's a good kick, but they played on the 10 metre line there, just inside the halfway. A scrum will go down. Scrum has been won by Mount Albert. Now they bring the ball out into their centres. They're bringing their winger in, but he's brought down in the tackle there by Chaz Pucky and John Hiramai. Well, John Hiramai was penalised there for pushing the man down onto the ground, but the referee had caught him there, so he's penalised him. So the penalty going to Mount Albert. Fullback Darryl Williams has kicked for touch, and they'll play the ball inside the green and gold's half. Right on the 22, they'll play it there. Now using their big man, the referee says, no, you didn't even tap the ball. We'll have a scrum there. Won by green and gold, and Chaz Pucky decides to have a run on his own, but he's brought down in the tackle there. Give it to Donald there, and Donald move it out to Alan Tupai. And Alan Tupai give it to Sonny, but Sonny knocked it on. The referee says we'll have a double knock on. It was a good move there by the green and gold, but it didn't work off for them, so they'll have a scrum there, still inside their own 22. This is what Mount Albert wants to see, the game played in the green and gold's half. Move it out to Chaz Pucky, out to Patrick Coy. Patrick tried to elude his opposite there, but he's brought down in the tackle. Now he'll get up to play the ball out to Donald Parkinson. And give it out to Rick there, and Rick decides to have a run. but he's stopped there in his tracks. He'll play the ball, still inside their own 22. Now they move the ball out to Alan Tupai, and Alan Tupai decides to have a run on his own. He does boot 1 tackle, 2 tackle. Referee says we'll have a scrum there. The scrum's won there by the green and gold. And give it out to 10. It's out to Anaru Thompson. Knock back, the ref says no. We'll have the scrum there. Now Tanny lost a bit of ground there. They went back about 15 yards there. They'll have a scrum right in front of their uprights. And this is what Mount Albert wants to see happen. They want to keep the game in the green and gold zone half. And it's won by Mount Albert there. They move the ball out here into their centres. He's taken down a tackle by Kills. He's held up. The referee says he's held. They'll play the ball still inside Tanny's 25. They double around there, Mount Albert, and he gives it out, but he's held in a tackle by Rick there. They'll get up to play the ball. And they move the ball out to there, out to the line, and there it is, and he's through for a try. Good try there by Mount Albert. Just break right through the green and gold defence. And they scored just to the left of the uprights. That try was scored by Dominic Clark for Mount Albert, and that pushed them ahead by 14 points to 2. Well, the conversion was unsuccessful.
Dominic Clark takes the score to Mount Albert 40, Tanaka 2.
That try was unsuccessful with the conversion, so there is Mount Albert leading by 14 points to 2. The kick has been taken deep by Patrick Hoy and is taken by Chris Meta there. He gives it out to their winger. He's brought down in the tackle. He's held there. He'll get up to play the ball, still in their half. And move the ball out here to their right, and he's still brought down in the tackle. They're switching it back into their centres, and this is good tactic by Mount Albert. They need to have 1-2 tackle there, and he's brought down in the tackle. Mount Albert just running onto the ball now. They're just playing the basics, moving the ball out and running onto it. And he's brought down inside Tanny's half. Now they get up to play the ball and moving the ball right out here into their centres. Bring it out to big Joe Cowan, and Joe Cowan is brought here. And Stephen Plummer decides to have a run on his own. He does lose 1 tackle, but he's held in the tackle there. He'll play the ball there. Give the ball out to Warren. Warren decides to give a short pass into Doug Rye, but Mount Albert's right up there on their defence, and they put him down. Now they play the ball just inside Mount Albert's half. They're moving the ball out to big Rick. And Rick's just switched the ball back into Curls. But they lost ground there. They lost about 5 yards there. They'll get up to play the ball. Giving out to Patrick Coy. Patrick Coy give out to Warren, and is out to Alan Tupai, and Alan Tupai will hold the ball. He'll take the tackle. Now they're inside Mount Albert's half. Ref said that's the last tackle. And they move the ball out to big Rick, and Rick decides to kick it infield. The ref says no, we'll have a knock on there. Mount Albert knocked the ball on there. It's a bit untidy play there by the green and gold at the moment. They haven't really settled in. So a scrum will go down inside Mount Albert's half. Ref said not and gone straight out. Scrum's won by the green and gold now. They're moving out into their centres, out to Walter Toka. Walter's double around and He's been kicked through by Mount Albert, and Chaz Puckey is there to recover the ball. They'll get up to play the ball there, right on their own 22. Plays it back to Sonny Martin, out to John Hiromai. John Hiromai decides to have a run on his own, go around one. But he's brought down there right on the 22. He'll get up to play the ball there. Play it back to Donald Parks, and Donald move it back out to Warren. Warren's there just crushing through. But he's brought in the tackle. Good tackle there by Mount Albert. He'll get up to play at Donald Parks and out to Big Rick. Rick's having a run on his own. He's gone through the tackle there and give it out to Louis, and Louis's gone through the gap there. Louis decides to jump over his man. Good running there by Louis. He'll play the ball just inside Mount Albert's half now. They move the ball out to Big Rick, and it's out to Sonny. Sonny give it out to Walter. But Walter's brought down in the tackle there. He'll get up to play the ball. The referee says we'll penalise you, Mount Albert, for not letting the green player get up to play the ball.
Sideline. Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
And that was a good touch finder there by Patrick, and they'll play the ball inside Mount Albert's 22. Stephen Tom will take the tap. Tap the ball, and he'll just have a run on his own. He'll take the tackle, but the ref says Mount Albert wasn't back to 5 yards, the 10 yards, so he penalised Mount Albert. Tap was taken by Donald Parks, and he moves around, double around, and he gives it out to Warren there. Warren tries to go through, but the Mount Albert defence is right up there on him. Now he'll get up to play the ball. He'll play the ball back to Donald there, and Donald give it out to Rick, and Rick move it out to Doug Rahe. But Mount Albert is right on top of him. They'll hold him there. He'll get up to play the ball, and he's out to Donald Parks, and Donald give it out to Patrick. Patrick decides to have a chip through on his own. There's the Texas, they kick it through. It went out on the full, so the referee said we'll have a scrum back there on your 22. Well, the scrum will go down there right on the 22, Mount Albert's half. Won by the green and gold. Now they move the ball out to Sonny, and Sonny decides to have a run on his own. He does. He'll get up to play the ball on at 22. Play it out to Curls, and Curls give it out to Alan Tupai, and Alan Tupai lose one tackle, two. Give it out to Stephen Tomo. Stephen cuts back in. He'll get up to play the ball there. Out to Donald Parks, and Donald move it out to Warren, but the referee says no, we'll have the knock on there. Scrum will go down inside Mount Albert's 22. Penalty there to green and goal.
Come on, Dave.
Chaz Puckey decides to have a run on his own, but he's brought down there in the tackle. He get up to play it to Donald Parks, and Donald move it out to Warren. Warren decides to have a run on his own, but he's brought down there in a good tackle by Mount Albert. They'll get down, they'll play the ball back to Donald. Donald out to Big Rick, and Rick decides to have a run in on his own, but he's brought down in the tackle there, still short of the try line. They get up to play the ball now. They move the ball back to Sonny. Sonny out, and is out to Curls. And the referee says that we'll have the drop out underneath the post. I think Thomas did the right thing.
Think about it here. Think about it. Think about it. Just play the big and basics. Get in there. Look at the big one.
Yeah. He's lucky that fella decided to fall on him. So Mount Albert will kick the ball from the in goal line there, and he's kicked deep back into the green and gold end. It's moved back to Curls Thompson. He's giving it out to Curls, and Curls has decided to have a run on his own. He does, but he's brought down in the tackle, and they've taken the play inside to Mount Albert's half. And brought the ball out to John Hiramai. John Hiramai to lose one tackle, two, and he gives the ball out to Warren, and it's out to Walter Toka. Walter tried to go around his man, but he's brought down in the tackle there. We'll have a scrum inside Mount Albert's own half. You're never going to score, never going to score if they don't get it now. They never will get a try if they don't get into it now. Mount Albert's won that scrum. Now they've just gained 2 yards, and they'll take the tackle. They get up to play the ball, and they move the ball right out here into their centres. Move it out to everybody's taken in the tackle, and there's a loss. They knock the ball back. They regain the ball. Mount Albert get up to play it. Still inside their own half. They'll play the ball back. There's the kick through by Mount Albert. And it's well taken there by Curl Thompson. Curl decided to have a run on his own. He does. Tried to jink, but he's caught in the tackle. He'll play the ball back to John Hiramai. He'll get up to play it. John is brought down in the tackle there. He's still inside their own half. They'll get up to play the ball back to Donald Parks, and Donald out to Warren. Warren out to Tark. Tark is taken in the tackle there. They'll get up to play it to Donald. Back out to Warren there, and Warren decided to have the kick through. Warren, ref said, is back to the first tackle now. They'll play the ball still in their own half. No one seemed to want to run off Rick. Let's give it out to Patrick Coy. Patrick will kick through there. And it's good running there by Cedric Luffick there for Mount Albert. Gain the ball there. He'll play the ball inside Tanny half now. They move the ball out to the right, using their blind. It's by Chris Meta there, and Chris decides to have a pass a loose ball out. But that winger's taken in the tackle there. Good running by Mount Albert. They'll get up to play it inside Tanny's own half now. They're moving the ball right out into their backs here. And they have Tanny well stretched here. They'll get up to play the ball inside Tanny's own half. The referee has taken him down another 5 yards for chattering. Referee said to get up and play it. He'll play it. They move the ball out into their centres. But now they've thrown the ball, a long ball right out to their winger, and now they've regained the ball, but Alan Tupai is regaining it for the green and gold. They'll play the ball back to Chas Pucky. Chas Pucky out to, sorry, that was from Donald out to Chas Pucky. He eluded one tackle, two tackle, he's brought down in the tackle, still in their own 25. He plays the ball back, decide to have a run on his own. He'll get up to play it now. He'll play it back to Donald Parkinson. They'll move the ball back out to Warren, and Warren out to Sonny, and Sonny out to Patrick Corey. Patrick decides to have a go on his own, but he's brought down. And a good tackle there by the green and gold. Get up there, and Sonny decides to switch the ball inside to Warren. But Warren has lost the ball there. They don't want to do anything with this ball, so they've given it back to Mount Albert. So Mount Albert now is starting to attack using this ball. Good tackle there by Doug Rye. And they're moving the ball back out into the centres here. It's out to Chris Meda, and Chris decides to have a run on his own, but he does, and they're using their winger here, Mark Bulliville. And Mount Albert's got their player stretched across the paddock here, but he's held in the tackle there by Doug and Lewis. So Lewis regained the ball there. We have a replacement on the field. For the green and gold, Martin Martinez has come on for Walter Toker. And there's a penalty there to Mount Albert. Well, Mount Albert has got a penalty there for Lewis for interfering to playing the ball, and referee has penalised him. So therefore Mount Albert is having to go for 2 points to increase the lead by 16 points to 2. It's been flagged away.
Martin Martinez has replaced Robert Toker for Tanaparau.
Well, the kick's been taken in by the green and gold there, deep into Mount Albert's half, but the fullback, Darryl Williams, decides to have a run on his own. He goes right through Martin Martinez too. And he's brought down in the tackle there. Good running by Mount Albert. They're just playing the basic football. They just get the ball and just run. And if the gap's there, they'll take it. And there they are. They're using running the ball out. And there's big Rick Cowan here. And good running by Mount Albert. They'll get up to play it inside Tanny's zone 22. He'll play the ball to Mount Albert. Play it back, and they bring it out into their centres. And he's brought down in the tackle. They're still inside the green and gold's 22. They play the ball back out and they bring it right out into their centres. Right to Chris Meta, and Chris decides to have a run on in his own. But Rip says no, it's a forward pass there.
There's no prejudice.
So there's a forward pass in there. So Mount Albert's still leading by 14 points to 2. Boys, we've got to score now, boys, before the second half.
Second quarter.
Yeah, 49, that last quarter, boys. We've got to score now. See, this is the starting of the third quarter. Well, there was a double round move there by the green and gold, and eventually Alan Tupai did go through the gap, and now Ron Rangi is just taking the ball inside to the Mount Albert's half. They'll play the ball to Donald, and Donald's out to Chaz, and Chaz give it out to Doug Ray. Doug Ray has gained about 5 yards there. Now they get down to play the ball. Now they move it out to Martin Martinez, and Martin move it out to Alan Tupai, and Alan's out to Sonny, and Sonny decides he goes right through the gap for Tanny there. He'll get up to play it. Played inside Mount Albert's own half. There's a deep kick through there by John Hiramai. No ref says it's gone dead, so we'll have the 10-yard kick here back onto the 22. Well, this third quarter's about to come to an end, and it has, well, the third quarter has been played out, and it's the points are 14 points to Mount Albert. They're just increasing their points slowly, but they're keeping ahead there by 14 points to 2, and now it's up to the green and gold to really get back into this game, because they got the last 20 minutes to put it all together and hopefully come on top of this game here today.
Won twice, in the Tusk Cup.
They beat Hamilton, and who else did they beat?
They beat the team from North. So they do know, didn't they? Ruth walked in and have a look. Their team.
They got teams that, they've drawn Auckland teams.
Yeah, right. But they are the big and dark, these fellas.
Yeah.
This one? Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nah. Going back to Davies Park here, this is the last quarter of this game between Mount Albert and Tani Whareau for the Tusk Cup. So far, Mount Albert is leading by 14 points to 2, and that's a good handy lead for them. They know it's a good lead, and all they got to do now is hang on to that lead or open up and attack. And it's up to the green and gold to start doing the attacking and getting points, and hopefully trying to catch them up. So now Rick is running onto the ball. He'll play the ball in his own half. I'll get down to play it. Now they move the ball out to Curls and out to Sonny Martin, and Sonny decides to have a run, give it out to Patrick Coy. Patrick will play the ball there. And there's good tackling there by Mount Albert. They're making sure of their man now. He'll get up to play it. They play the ball back to Sonny. Sonny moved it out to Martin. Martin out to Donald, and Donald out to Alan Tupai, and Alan decided to having the run on his own, but there it is, the last tackle. They haven't really got into Mount Albert's own half. They give it out to Martin. Martin just had a chip kick ahead. And John Heremai's got it, and then there's Thompson. Kills will have a pass inside pass to Donald there. And Donald decided to have a run on his own. He's giving it out to John Heremai. And John Heremai is brought down in a tackle right inside Mount Albert's own half. They lay the ball down now. They bring it out to Curls, and Curls have a run on his now to Warren. And Warren will get up to play the ball now on Mount Albert's 22. They're out to Kill Thompson. Curls have a jinking run, 1, 2. He goes through on tackle 2, and he's brought down short of the try line. This is the time they need to get points on the board there now. And they're moving it out to Patrick. Give Patrick out to Cud. But he's brought down in the tackle by Mount Albert. Well, they lost some ground there. They lost the ground there. Now they give it back to Lewis. Lewis out to Martin, out to Alan Tupai. Alan Tupai has a run on his own. He's tried to look for the pass, but he'll play the ball there inside Mount Albert's own 22. And Patrick will have a kick on his own, and he give it out to Sonny. And Sonny give it out to Patrick, and Stephen Thomas having a run on his own. And Stephen Thomas will score. Great try for Tanny. Right under the uprights. Great try. Well, this is what the green and gold wanted. They wanted to get into this game quick, and they know they need to get in there well to close that gap. And that was a fine try. There was only about 3.5 minutes running, and they know they needed that try. They needed that 6 points to get within striking points of the might of Mount Albert. And well, that was a run of the play there for the green and gold, because that was the last tackle. And well, one part there, Patrick decided he was going to kick it. No, then he changed it. Just moved to his right, and there was Stephen Tomo coming on the outside of him, and Stephen Tomo just went right through the gap, and he ran about 20 metres, and he scored in the upper right. And there it is, the conversion is there, and now we have a ball game on our hand. The scores now is 14-8, with Mount Albert went into a bit of a lap there, and there it is. So Mount Albert leading by 14-8. We have about 15 minutes to go. Now it's a good try there by the green and gold. Now they need another try like that. They decide, well, Mount Albert has got the edge back here. They've driven that ball deep down into the Tanny half, and well, John Heremai did touch the ball. Well, he's brought down, and Mount Albert has gained the ball, and he's brought down in a tackle just inside the green and gold 22. Now they play the ball. They bring it out into the centres here, but he's brought down in the tackle there. Now they play the ball down. That's their third. This is their third play. And Rick decided to have a go at him, but he's knocked the ball back, and old big Jim Cowan here, Rick Cowan, is having a run on his own, and he's brought down there in the tackle. That's his fourth tackle. He'll get up to play the ball. Mount Albert's moving the ball out here into their centres, and it's good running there by Mount Albert, but he's brought down in the tackle there. Now play the ball back, and they're bringing the ball out wide out into the centres, and he's brought down in the tackle there by the green and gold. Good tackling there by Tanny. Now they'll get up to play the ball. That's the last tackle on Mount Albert. Now see what Mount Albert's going to do here. They're going to decide to have a drop kick on it. And there's the kick. They kick the ball right through. It's dead ball there. Well, Mount Albert had their chance there to make some end of that first quick try of Tanny, and 3 minutes into the last quarter, but they've given the ball back to the green and gold. And now it's putting them back on attack. Give the ball out now. It's out to Chaz Puckey, out to John Heremai, and John Heremai decides to have a run through their gap, but they'll play the ball still in their own half. Play the ball back to Donald, out to Martin, out to Warren, but Warren has lost the ball. Mount Albert has regained the ball. They'll get up to play it inside their own half. And he's lost the ball. Mount Albert's lost the ball. No, referee says to give it back. So Mount Albert will play it. Now they move the ball back out here into their centres. And Mount Albert is throwing the ball everywhere. But he's brought down in a good tackle there by the green and gold. They'll get up to play it just outside Tanny's 22. Now they come up. Mount Albert's trying to run everything at them. And they know that if Tanny get back into this game and score, it'll be 14-all. But at the moment they lead him by 14 points to 14 points to 8. Now it's 15 points to 8. And there's a good field goal there by Mount Albert. Increased their lead by 1 point to make it 15 points to 8. Well, that was a fine field goal there by Shane Cooper for the Mount Albert, and that means to say that Tanny has to score twice to get back in front of this game. Well, Patrick Coy has kicked the ball down deep into Mount Albert's half. Now they bring the ball, they switch it into Mike Bonneville for the winger for the Mount Albert. They'll play it still in their own half. And they're using their big man, Mount Albert. But he's brought down. He gained about 2 or 3 yards there. He'll get up to play it still in their own half. They'll play the ball back. They're switching the ball back inside field, and there's the gaps starting to close in on Mount Albert there. They'll get up to play it still in their own half. And they're moving the ball out to big Rick Cowan. But he's taken there, and a good tackle by John Hurumai. He'll play the ball inside their own half. They play the ball now using their centres. He's taken down in the tackle. Good tackle there by the green and goal. They'll get up to play. That's the last tackle, the ref says. Last play of the ball. There's the kick through by Mount Albert. But out on the full, the ref says. So we'll have a scrum there back where it was kicked out. Inside Mount Albert's own half. Well, the game has come alive into this last quarter. And so it should, because they know that from Tanny's point of view, they know they need to get back into this game, and another quick try will see them pushing back the might of Mount Albert. Well, the scrum has gone in, and it's there for the green and gold now. They won the ball, and Chaz decided to have a run on his own. He did. He went right through a tackle there. He'll get up to play the ball inside Mount Albert's half. Play it back to Donald there. Donald move it out to Martin Martinga. Out to Alan Tupai. Alan has a crushing run on his own up. Now he'll play the ball back to Donald. Now we've got Sonny out here, then they call out to Martin. Martin give it out to Doug Rahi. Doug Rahi goes in a good tackle there by Mount Albert. Now they get up to play it. Now Donald and moves it out to Martin. Martin gives it inside past to Warren. Warren has gained about 2 or 3 yards there. He'll get up to play it. They're still inside Mount Albert's half. That's about the 4th tackle. They move the ball out to Big Rick, and Rick decides to switch the ball out to Donald. Donald has the run, tried to lose two tackles there. Well, there's the 5th tackle on the green and goal. And give it out to Martin, and they move it out to Sonny. Sonny out to John Hurumai, and John Hurumai licked the kick infield, and it's good taken by Mount Albert. They'll play the ball there on their 22, inside their own 22.
Hollywood. Replay. You look sick.
You still on? Well, Mount Albert has gained the ball there. They'll have played a tap the ball there, and then he's taken in the tackle there by Rick and Donald Parks, and now they're moving the ball out into their centres. They're using their big man. They stopped the tackle there. Good tackling there by the green and goal. He'll play it on the 22. He'll play the ball down. He's moving the ball out. There's the kick through by Mount Albert, and it's coming out to John Hurumai. He's got the ball there. He decides to have a run on his own. Yes, the referee has caught him there at a loose arm by Mount Albert there on John Hurumai. referee having some hard words with Mount Albert, and says there's a loose arm there on John Hiramaya, and he's awarded a penalty just inside Mount Albert's own half. Well, it's a good kick there by Patrick Coy, so they'll play the ball well inside Mount Albert's 22. And John Hiramaya will take the tap there, and he'll decide to have a run on his own. He does try, he neglects to pass the ball, but the referee says they not back to 10, so he's penalised Mount Albert again and has driven them back 10 yards. So there it is, they've moved the ball out there and is giving it out to Warren. Warren just crushes through on the tackle of Mount Albert, and Mount Albert now is finding a really defending hard here now, and is giving out to Donald Parkinson. Donald decided to have a run on his own. They'll play the ball. It's back to the first tackle, the ref says. Play it back to Lewis. Lewis out to Martin. Martin decided to swing around and is out to Doug Rahe. And Doug Rahe will hold the ball in the tackle there. He'll get up to play it.
Looking, move.
And they decide to move the ball out into their centres. Out to Warren Rang, and Warren give it out to Chaz Puckey. Chaz come back infield. He does lose one tackle, two tackle, and he's gained about 6-7 yards there. They'll get up to play the ball. That's his fourth tackle, the ref, and Lewis moving it out to the blind. And Lewis decides to try to crash through there, but he doesn't, and John Hiramaya has tackled him. Good tackling there by John Hiramaya on the Mount Albert fullback, Darryl Williams. So they'll kick out underneath the post for to gain the play again. So Tanny at the moment is starting to attack at Mount Albert because they know they need to score twice to get back into this game, or even get in front of Mount Albert. Well, there's the kick, which is taken well by Martin Martinger. Martin decided to have a run on his own, but he's taken well and good in the tackle. They're right on the 22. He get up to play it back to Donald. And Tanny regroups again. They're trying to use their big man out to big boy. Rick decides to go through on his own. He's held in the tackle by 3. They'll play the ball back to Donald. Donald brings it out to Martin, out to Warren. Warren gives it out to Doug Rahe, and Doug tries to crash through the centres there, but ref says you're offside. Ref said you're offside, Mount Albert, so we'll play the ball right on the 22, and Patrick decided to have a run on his own. He does. Now John Hiramaya has regained the ball for the green and goal. Get out to play it, and there's Chaz Puckey. Referee says Mount Albert has gained that ball. They'll play it there inside their 22. Now the tacklers are coming fast and fury now from the green and goal. They know they need to get back into this game because you have about 12 minutes to play. Taken well there by Rick. They'll play the ball inside their 22. And Mount Albert starting to throw everything around now. They're moving the ball around, and it's given out to young Rick Meter here. He'll play the ball there. He does. He plays the ball back out to the blind. They're trying to use their big man, Mount Albert, and he loses the ball there. The referee says we'll take a knock on. Well, the green and gold is holding them in there for the last 7 minutes. They've kept them in there for the last 7 minutes, and they're still playing in Mount Albert's 22. We have a replacement for the green and gold. Pat Edwards is coming on for Alan Tupaia. Well, Alan Tupaia has played a good game for the green and gold. He went out there to do what he was signed to do, and he did his best. And now he is replaced by Pat Edwards. The ball is theirs. Ref says no, straight out. Scrum there is right on Mount Albert's 22. And there's one by the green and gold. They move it out to Masani and out to and then it's given out to Curls, and Curls has taken that cap to Curls and hard luck, and Stephen Tomo has missed the pass there. There's hard luck there for Stephen. They had a good chance there to go in for a try in the corner. Keeping Mount Albert pinned back in their own 22. But Mount Albert has won that ball this time and is given out to Martin, and Martin's taken him in a tackle. They'll get up to play it on just inside their own 22. And Mount Albert move it out into their centres, and they're using the fullback to come through, Dale Williams, and he'll get up to play it on the 22. Well, they'll play the ball now. They're moving out to the blind. And Rick has stopped stop Mount Albert's attack there, still in their own half. And here's held in the tackle there by Lewis. Now they're moving the ball right out into their centres, Mount Albert. They lost ground there, and it's given Patrick Coyer's got him, and he's brought him down in a good tackle. Patrick Coyer's. They'll play the ball there, Mount Albert. They know this is their last play of the ball.
Come on, kill him.
The referee says there's a penalty here against the green and goal for a late tackle, Pat Edwards. Well, there was pretty lucky there for the green and goal, because Mount Albert had them stretched there for a while, but it ended up in a penalty to the Mount Albert.
Is it on the ground, look?
I think that's Chess.
He's done it.
No, Chaz, isn't it?
He's done it. Get it. Cheers, all right.
Well, this is the first time we've seen Mount Albert in this last quarter in the green and gold half. And the scores are still 15-8 to Mount Albert.
What was the draw?
They have to play off. Replay.
Another game or another game? Serious? Oh no! He never knows.
They've got to score twice, eh?
You got to score when you score game.
So Mount Albert will take the tap inside Tanny's 22, and there's Rick Cowan there having a run on his own. And Pat's there, and Pat will tire him up there in the tackle. He'll get up to play it. Mount Albert decides to switch to a left and right there. And he's held well short of the tackle there. He's held in the tackle right underneath the uprights. So Mount Albert will get up to play the ball. They move the ball out, but there's no one there, and he's run back right back into the covered defence of the green and gold. They'll play the ball just outside the 22 now. They recuperate again, Mount Albert. They move the ball out to their wingers, but he's brought down in a good tackle by the green and gold. They'll get up to play it. Still inside the 22. Now they run up wide and they switch back inside. He's taken well there in the tackle by Bonneville. And Bonneville will get up to play the ball. Play it back now. Mount Albert is on attack and they're using everything they've got here. And he's held there by the tackle by Warren. They'll get up to play it. That's their last tackle. Rev said, that's your last tackle. They decide to have a snap field goal, but no, it's flagged away. Rev said no goal, so Tanny will get a tap there for the green and gold. They'll tap the ball on the 22. They move the ball out to Big Pat. Pat has a run through on his own. He decides to go out to the blind. He'll play the ball still in his half. Play the ball back to Donald. Donald out to Martin. Martin out to Sonny. Sonny out to Patrick Coy. Patrick Coy out to Stephen Tomo. But Stephen Tomo don't want to get onto this ball. He'll play the ball. There's good running there by the Mount Albert fullback, Darryl Williams. He'll get up to play it. He'll play the ball back in, using out into the centres. They switch the play there and he decided to take the dummy, but he's brought down in a tackle there by Lewis and Martin Martinger. He'll play the ball. Play the ball back. They use the blind side. Now they're bringing the ball back out here. It's good play by Mount Albert. They started to move the ball around. But he's taken in a good tackle there by John Huramai. They move the ball back now out into their centres. Bring out to Rick Cowan. They're moving it out, still bringing it out into their centres here, but he's brought down in the tackle just inside the green and gold 22. Referee said that's the last play of the ball. He'll get up to play the ball. Move the ball there, and there's the up and under by Mount Albert. And the ball is coming down for kills there. Referee says no, we'll take the knock on. Well, the scrum is won there by Mount Albert, but Martin Tanny had recovered that loose ball, but referee says no, we'll have a knock on there. So we'll have a scrum there just in front of the uprights. Well, it's untidy scrum there. It's the ref says no, you haven't got the ball out clean, so we'll have another scrum down. We'll have about 8 minutes to play. About 8 minutes running time. Well, Mount Albert is holding on to the lead so far, 15 points to 8. They know that the green and gold has to score twice to get in front. There's our Curls is giving it out to Martin, and Martin decides to take the tackle. He'll get up to play it. And there's the gap, there's out to Pat, big Pat there. Pat decides to have a run, Chas Pucky. Ref says we'll have a double knock on there. Where's Kills? Oh, the ball's been won by the green and gold. They move it out now, out to Martin, and give it out to Patrick Coy. Patrick decided to have a run on his own, but he's brought down in a tackle, and he's given it out to Sonny. But Sonny's also taken in the tackle there. He'll get up to play the ball there. Play the ball there now. Move the ball out to Martin, out to Warren. Warren decides to have a run on his own. He's giving it out to Donald. But Donald was just standing in that, and they play the ball. He'll get up to play it. Still inside the own 22. He'll play the ball out to Curls. Curls out to Pageant, and it's out to Son, and it's out to John Hurumai. And John will have a burst down the line there. And he decides to kick infield. But no, it went out on a full. The referee says we'll have a scrum there, right on the halfway. Well, the scrum's been won by Mount Albert. There's a loose ball there, and Sonny has gathered the loose ball. He'll get up to play it now, right inside Mount Albert's own half. Give it out to Patrick Coy. Patrick out to Chas Pucky. Chas tried to go around his man. Cedric Glugger put him down on the ground, right on the halfway. He'll get up to play it. Help Chas play the ball there. Lou the tackle, 1, 2, tried to go back in, but he's brought down again by Mount Albert there. They'll get up to play the ball. Patrick gets the ball, gives it out to Lewis there. Lewis right out to Martin. Then he moves it out to Sonny, and Sonny gives it out to John Hurumai. And John Hurumai has his winger on, and he's gone right past his winger. No, his winger has got him from behind and just managed to get John Hurumai out on the touchline there. Well, these two are having a good duel out there, and at the moment, John Hurumai is just getting a wee bit of edge on Mike Bonneville out there, but still Mike is still picking him up from behind. But now Tanny's back into the Mount Albert's own half. Well, the scrum is won by Mount Albert again. He'll go down in the tackle. They'll play the ball, they're still in there, 22, and they'll run the ball. But he's brought down in the tackle by the green and gold. He'll get up to play it. Still inside the own half. Now they move the ball out into they're running out into the centres, but he's brought down in the tackle by Warren. They're still playing in the own half, and that's their third tackle now. They're bringing the ball back now, and it's good running by Mount Albert. They're bringing their full back in. Darryl Williams to straighten the game up for Mount Albert. And then Mount Albert decides to bring the ball out to Pat Cowan, Rick Cowan there, and he's played the ball right on the half, and that's the final play the ball, the ref says. So they'll play the ball right out wide, Mount Albert, because they got enough men out there, and there it is. They're really running onto the ball, but he's brought down in the tackle. And ref says, give it away. So they'll play the ball. That's the sixth tackle. They give it out to Chaz Pucky, out to Doug Ryan. Doug Ryan decides to just run up there still. That's their first tackle. They'll play the ball still in their own half. They give it out to Rick. Rick out to Martin Martinga. Martin out to Sonny. And Sonny out to Stephen Tomo. And Stephen Tomo is well taken in the tackle there, but he moves the ball back to Patrick. Patrick decides to move the ball right out here to Warren. Now there's the caps are out there, but there's no speedster out there for the green and gold. Now they lost the ball there. Green and Ball has lost the ball, and Mount Albert will go back on attack again. Well, they'll get up to play it. Mount Albert get up to play it. Still in the green and gold's half. There's a knock on there by the knock on there by Mount Albert. So the scrum will go in, still inside the green and gold's half. We have about 5 minutes to go, and Mount Albert leading by 15 points to 8. Referee said straight out. Well, the scrum has been won by the green and gold, by Patrick, by Pat Edwards. He'll get up to play it to Donald. They move the ball out to Martin, but Martin decides to go back to the blind, and he moves it out to Curl Thompson. Curls have a jink, 1, 2, and he moves the ball back into Warren. Warren back out to Chaz Pucky. And Chaz tried to get through one tackle. He did. He gets through 2, and he gives the pass to Donald. And they're still driving back, and Lewis will get the ball, and the ref said the bell has gone for full time, and Mount Albert has defeated the green and gold 24 of Waikato by 15 points to 8 after leading 14 points to 2 at half time. And there it is. It was a very close encounter in the last quarter of the 20 minutes. A deserved win there by Mount Albert. They deserved their win. They played the type of football that